Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Tuesday, the 3rd of October. So, starting with the euro dollar, and well, at the moment there's a marginal amount of daily divergence sitting here. It's not a tradable divergence as such, but it may suggest there's a bit of weakness in this downward movement for the moment at least. Looking through the timescales, and well, the 4-hourly doesn't really show this. It's a factor on the daily basis there. As I say, it's relatively weak. However, there is potential for these markets to retrace at least part way. Now we have got a couple of targets above, including daily pivot, weekly pivot, sort of sitting above there. Short-term target may be a move back towards the 60.21. It's not done this for a while. That in turn could form some sort of sell point potentially. One thing to note, actually, there is a marginal bit of divergence sitting around on the hourlies as well, actually a more tradable type divergence. So follow through here, as I said, could see us pushing up a bit further. Okay, so it's the euro dollar. Looking at the pound. The pound is speaking about it yesterday. Could be on target for coming back to its regression average there, and it sure enough has done that. Now it seems to be bouncing off there at the moment, and maybe we will see some sort of correction. It's already through the monthly pivot here, weekly pivot still potentially above us. Signals here, well, there was some sort of divergency moves yesterday. It looked like it was on the RSI there. Maybe still running through to these points. Now we have just run into the 60.21s on cable. It does weaker than the euro at the moment, and the Conservative Party conference possibly may leave the sort of in a risky area in a sense. Break of the 60.21s, daily pivot looks like a possibility, of course. Aside of that, really downside in the trend would be looking down towards the S1 if it just continues on this route. So really, I prefer the bearish side, but as I said, with these currencies, there's a reason that they may just see some sort of bigger corrections. Looking at the dollar yen, again, this is pushing up here in this particular case, inverted euro effectively and pound in its sense. It's had a decent push this morning. There's not a lot on this to suggest it wouldn't continue to the upside at the moment on the larger time frames. From a 60-minute point of view, we are putting it here. Well, it's sort of consolidated phase here with the prior highs there. A break of that area, well, may see us running up towards the R2. Already through the daily pivot R1. It looks more bullish than anything else. It's marginal divergence around the highs, which may have been worked off here. It's sort of air kissed at 60.21. Not really giving us too much more clue there, but break these highs here, well, we could be pushing further. Really need to look at the upper time frames to see where next really, and it's possibly right the way back to this sort of 113 or 114 area where we saw the price fell previously. Okay, Aussie dollar. We saw the rate statement come out overnight and not seeing much change. The interest rate stayed as expected, the same. Seems to be on a bit of a slow server here at the moment. From a daily perspective, from a 4-hourly perspective, nothing really. Again, there's no clear sign of movement here already through the daily pivot S1. It has put a bit of a reversal bar in at the moment. Any breaks really, if we were looking to play towards that weekly pivot at some point, really needs to break. There's a trend line across the highs here, which is just above that 50 MA, which may sort of suggest further upside back towards the weekly pivot and a bigger correction. But at the moment, the dollar strength seems to be pretty sound across most of these pairings. And let's have a look at the Canadian dollar. Canadian dollar again just pushing up, very small movements intraday effectively. Again, we've got potential, or in this case we've got a weekly and monthly pivot below, so there could be a draw back, obviously negatively correlated with the likes of the euro, etc. So we yeah, a move down is a break of the 21.60 21s, could see it rolling over towards daily pivot and weekly pivot at some point, and as I say, a bigger correction. But for now, again, it's pretty much like the yen, what we're seeing here with the consolidation around the highs there, around prior highs. And again, it really needs to come out to look at what the situation is in the bigger time frames, and it may be with the Canadian dollar, it could be pushing up towards its daily 100 at some point. It's certainly remaining in this sort of slow but steady trend. So nothing else to add to that now. Data today, we've already had the Reserve Bank of Australia's statement out, and cash rate, that's out. From here, we've now got what is a German bank holiday today. The euro trading may be a bit lighter. Some of the key German banks are quite big players, of course. But aside of that, then we've got construction PMI this morning for UK. That is a slightly lesser mover, but still can give us some volatility. And that's pretty much it. We've got an FOMC speaker at 1:30, but who's due to talk about reform of regulatory. Financial regulation even. There's I don't think that's going to be creating much movement. It may just be from the, as I say, the Conservative Party conference. We may see a bit of volatility coming from that as different speakers come through. Okay, that's it for me. Have a great day. Bye for now.